Hey YouTubers, this is the Cockerill Brothers. We just went to Altoona last night, and my brother here did quite well with his deck. Let's see what you was playing.
I was playing Mermail, Atlantean Frog, ignorant fucking Mermail, Atlantean Frog shenanigans.
So what place did you get?
I got 21st place out of 226 players.
And it was 32 cutoff, or 32 invite, right?
Yep, top cut.
Wow.
I went 6-2. I played against 3 Despia. I played against 3 Despia, 1 Numeron, Ixie, Zeus Turbo, whatever that is. I played against ABC Adventure. I played against that was actually the last round.
Right.
The round before that, I played against 1 Flunderies. Fair amount of the meta. It's pretty average. Fair amount of the meta.
Well, let's see what you got.
All right. I know everybody's been just like destroying my Facebook,
yeah,
trying
of course.
to
Just like right after the regionals, they had a whole bunch of people on Facebook for like, give me your deck list, give me your deck list.
I know.
We were just at the restaurant after the tournament, and they were just blowing it up. It was great.
Yeah, I know. So for the monsters, just 1 Megalo. I was debating 2, but 1 worked out fine.
How did that work, actually?
Pretty much, it worked quite well. Just OTK machine. You discard 2 water monsters, special summon this card from hand. When it's special summoned, you get to add Abyss Spell Trap from your deck to your hand. I just play 1 search target.
So you dropped a 1. Usually people play, what, 2?
Yeah, usually 2. I decide 1 because with some other cards I play, you're just going to recycle it repeatedly anyway.
Gotcha.
And plus you got ways to get it back.
Awesome.
And you contribute a face-up attack position water monster. Any water monster, it can attack twice.
Cool.
So, and then 3 of the best starter combined with another card in the deck, Abyss Tias.
My gosh.
Activate it.
Ultis.
Yes. Activate it, pitch a water, summon it from hand. The summon is not once per turn, so you can summon multiple, but the search is once per turn.
Right.
I play 1 Pike. This is for the Bahamut Toad combo, which I'll show probably after a while in a separate video.
Awesome.
Then 1 Gund, the searchable monster reborn in the deck, and Pike is also basically Stratos, so I've only played 6.
Awesome.
Yep. Now for the Atlanteans, we're already getting into the broken stuff.
Oh gosh.
3 Atlantean Dragoons.
Jesus.
Stratos, not once per turn.
Stop with the ultis.
2 heavy infantry, and then 1 marks.
Jesus.
I was debating on cutting the marksman to 0 completely,
Right.
but I decided to play 1 before the event last minute because I know if I open like other cards to like try and pop back row, like against Flunder, it was pretty good at popping like Book of Moon, so like that was pretty good before I even commit anything to the board. So,
Right.
3 of the best card in the deck.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Really absurd. +2. It is reborn for any of these. So, really, really insane card. If people actually know what this deck does, they don't like to see this card hit the board. Three of this card, Deep Sea Minstrel. This card was the nuts.
So you moved to 3. How many was you playing before?
I was playing 2, and then I decided to go to 3 and did not regret it. Pretty much, this card, you pitch it in any other water, so it sets off the Atlantean effects, it loads your graveyard, and you get to look at your opponent's hand and banish 1 card from it face up. It's one of the cards they don't like to see, because then you get knowledge of what's in their hand. That actually is what won me Game 3 against ABC Adventure.
Yeah.
He had 2 Rive Armacia in his hand, and a Call by the Grave, Draco Back, and Union Hanger.
A celebrity?
No deck file. Just a deck profile.
Just a deck profile.
Yeah.
But yeah, this card was insane. Also, if you special summon it, you get to mill the top 3 of your deck and target a water in your graveyard, put it to the top or bottom of the deck so it recycles something for later. So you could do like a Megalo that you had to pitch later. This came up where I milled Dragoons, Prince, Heavy, and it triggers all of them because it's mill for cost. So, which is pretty cool. Insane.
Yeah.
So I got to pop something, search, and bring something back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, just pluses. one of the most powerful normal summons in the game, but also one of the most vulnerable, obviously.
Yes.
Deep Sea Diva. This is a tuner. It's a level 2. This card is insanely broken. Every time you open this card, you're breaking whatever board they put up.
It's like you gotta ash it.
You gotta ash it. You gotta imperm it.
Yeah.
It got... Card's so fucking good. I only got impermed once.
Wow. That's pretty good. Only one time. That's good.
Yeah. Some people just didn't really know how to play the deck. That's part of the win condition. It's just the surprise.
Right.
And then the 4 frogs. The four of the ignorant frogs. What's fun is like just turboing into Toad is just insane. You open this plus any of these 3 is immediate Toad. It forces out imperm, ash.
Yes.
Got impermed once, got ashed once, baits out hand traps immediately. And in worst case scenario, you link this off, you have ways to get it back out of the graveyard and then just make a Toad anyway. I've had times where I've made a Toad, committed something to the board, they hand trap like imperm on my Diva, I chain the Toad, send it, steal the imperm for free, Toad gets something back, so I recycle something, and then use an extender to bring the swap back, and then make another Toad.
Right.
So it's basically all just free.
That's pretty good.
It's just a card nobody likes to see.
I agree.
Lapis, here's the main one of waters. Add to hand, special summon it. It's a 5 tuner, which can allow you to make like boss monsters. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Fishboard, basically glow up bulb for water. Summon it back if you only have waters in your graveyard. And then the card nobody wants to see.
Yes.
Moon Glacier.
The hater, the one that makes you have to get rid of 2 cards in your hand.
Yep, Delinquent Duo 2022. This card is basically a win condition. You hit Rive Armacia, you hit Fusion Destiny out of their hand. Like, people think this card is, like...
The devil.
it is, but, like, at the same time, there's times where this card is not super amazing, but, like, in most cases, also with just my luck, it seems like, I have, like, the best hits. At locals, I've hit, like... Fusion Destiny and Rive Armacia out people's hands. It's just this card just destroys. Like against Despia, when they don't open when they open Branded Fusion. I've had times where they open Branded Fusion and I just snipe that out of their hand. I snipe out like all their power plays, and then they got to play through 3 interrupts, and this card just destroys. Moon was so good. Then I decided to play these last week. Really did not regret it. Double Ash Blossom, double Ogre. In games 1 and 2 against ABC, this was round 8. Open Ghost Ogre both games. Ghost Ogre the Adventure Engine. Mm-hmm. All he had was he basically didn't have any follow up. All he had was a Dragon Buster I was able to play through, and I just played through his whole board.
Yeah.
So this card was just insane. The Ash Blossom, stop Brand Fusion 3 times.
Yeah, it's really good. I've done that too.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Alright. Spell cards. There is a saying that I completely believe in as far as this game, the longest time I've been playing this game, and that is the banlist will prevail. 3 Pot of Avarice.
3 ulti Pot of Avarice.
I did not brick this once. I had a game where I bricked with like Tias Pike and basically and had this in hand. I also had like I think a Minstrel as well. I actually pitched the Minstrel. I brought it back with an enemy, made Halka Fibrax, loaded my graveyard with just all the links. It was just so fucking easy to set up 5 even if you don't open the Atlanteans.
Yeah, it was so bad.
I avariced, put everything back, draw 2. I drew into 1-for-1 plus a hand trap. 1-for-1, pitch it, summon Prince from deck, and then I'm rolling.
Yeah,
and then after that...
The card's just broken. You did that to me like 2-3 times, and you just shuffled everything back, and I was like, stop doing that.
You resolve this twice in a game, you're winning. Like, you resolve this once, it's broken. You resolve it twice in a game, you're winning that game. I don't see how you lose. If you magically resolve all 3, you are just like...
Because you're just drawing tunas not once per turn. It's just awesome.
Best pot card ever.
Yeah.
Then, for the searches, 2 Deep Sea Aria. This card was really good. This card added Minstrel a lot, added Heavy, added Dragoons. So that way I had my power plays. This card was just broken as fuck. Being able to just get into the Diva as quick as possible, or if I feared a hand trap, grab Prince instead. Like, this card is insanely flexible. Would almost play 3. But at the same time, it requires setup, and sometimes there's cards in this deck that you don't want to banish, so that's why I only played 2.
Right.
It's also once per turn. I didn't regret the ratios. And then the 1-ups. Mizuchi. I don't like getting super polyed.
It just stops super.
This
It's
stops
great.
super poly. This stops droplet. This card is super important to play in the deck this format.
Yes.
It just hits a lot. Like Branded Fusion, plus with you putting negates on board, it's just ridiculous. You can choose to negate an activation. If you negate an activation, this card doesn't go to the graveyard and get used because
Right.
because you can't negate a same card twice.
Uh-huh.
So you could like toad something like that's continuous if this card just dies for no reason to.
Yeah.
And then you could like negate their super poly. Like
That's-
it's just insane.
That's amazing.
Reborn. This card was hilarious against Flunderies. He stopped my main play. He dimension shifted me, locked me out. I lightning stormed him turn 1. Then turn 2, I drew another lightning storm. Lightning stormed him again. Wiped his board. Both M-pins were engraved. He had Ryza Mega Monarch. I reborn back his M-pin, which was insanely dirty. I also used Lancia the prior turn, so I could have either summoned the M-pin, or I had the option to summon back the Lancia and lock him off again for another turn.
That's great.
1 for 1. This won me so many games because Avarice, you draw into extenders like this, get to Prince, and if you get to Prince and you resolve Prince, your win percentage goes up so much. Call by the Grave, stopped Ash, stopped Tragedy, just not much else to say. Pretty good. Main deck was 41. Go ahead and go on to extra.
All right.
We'll go low then big. Bujinki Ashima. This card is stupid. This card says I'm making Bahamut for like free. When you Neptibus, dump Dragoons, you add Dragoons. You basically add the 2 combo pieces that you need. You summon this with 2 at the same level, which I can demonstrate also in another video for combos. You can then summon Dragoons from hand, 1 from grave, make Bahamut Shark, detach from Bahamut Shark the Dragoons, summon Toad, and then Dragoons can grab Moon Glacier and then drop 2 cards out of their hand. Like, this card is just disgusting as an extender.
Wow.
Alacia, this card got popped 3 times during the event. 2 out of those 3 times it got popped, I won that game because it said I am bringing back something for free. There was actually one of the 3 times that this card got popped.
Right.
It brought back a properly summoned Toad. Then they had to deal with the Toad again,
Wow.
which was really fun. Then the Toad went back to grave, and then I got plus again. So it was just beyond free.
Jeez.
And they just scooped. They just couldn't play through it. You also get to pitch any card, add a Mermail.
That's great.
Halka Fibrax.
Ulti.
Yes, it is. Summon a level 3 tuner from deck. This gives you access to Minstrel, which if you summon Minstrel back with any extender, you can have a chance of milling Dragoons. Dragoons get you to Moulin, or you can control your graveyard with the Minstrel.
Yes.
It's just insane. Also, on their turn, you can then tag out, so to speak, and summon a Synchro Tuner. So, card's really good. Also, this is a stepping stone for other plays.
Agree.
Mistar Boy. Boost the entire board by 5
Yes.
turns. I had this plus an enemy plus Toad after my opponent already had DPE plus Imperm. I played through the Imperm after they Imperm my Diva. And I 1 for 1 pitching, summon Prince. They DPE'd, popped the Prince. Then I just used this broken card, an enemy. They popped my Prince, and I used the enemy to bring back the Prince after they popped it in the DPE because they had no other cards on board. Then I
Right.
just killed them with this, and the Toad. And that was the game.
Did they use DPE to, did they use themselves or did they use another
They
card?
used themselves because they didn't have anything else. They opened
Right.
like mostly
so
monsters.
that's how you're able to get over them, right?
Yeah,
'Cause it was gone.
There's other ways too, because you could like minstrel, pitch heavy,
Right.
look at their hand, banish a hand trap. That's a problem that interferes with your plays, and
Yeah.
then the heavy will pop the DPE,
Yeah,
and then they're forced to just let it die, and then you're just gonna go off.
of course.
BLS, because I feared Eldritch, didn't play against it. Shockingly, if I play against it, this card just destroys because all your guys are 7, so you get the protection really easily. You beat it over, then you boost up by 15, and then they pretty much can't beat over it.
Yeah. Same for me. I know.
Yep. Appaloosa. This was fun against birds.
Oh gosh.
It's so against birds because they can just play around it. Sadly, if they have map. If they don't have map, they are pretty much not playing around this. So this card was pretty good.
Yeah.
I summoned it like twice. It was good against Despia too. I love this card. Underworld Goddess of the Closed World.
Yeah.
Unbreakable board. Yeah, go ahead, fam. see you later. Summon this. Then you just skill drain their board. Then you just literally push through over everything. They activate anything that tries to extend by bringing out of the graveyard. You just negate. I never had that come up, but I did link this off. I linked off the Ice Jade fusion from Despia. I linked that off 3 times. I didn't have access to a heavy to pop it because I really need the Dragoons for the card advantage to push with a Megalo. So instead, I went to Hauk, bring out Fishborg, and then summon, and then use the Tias, the Fishborg, and the Hauk plus the Jade to summon this. Fishborg come back, drop Megalo, and deal with the other problem card, then just OTK them.
Now, does that card actually get over the Mirror Jade? So instead of it
card?
being destroyed, you use it as a tribute?
Mirror Jade, I think just has to leave the field because of an opponent's card, so I think it still activates.
Okay.
But doesn't matter. You're clearing their board and you're just going to kill them at this point.
Okay.
And also, Mirror Jade can't deal with this card because Mirror Jade doesn't target to banish, so they can't banish this.
Right.
They have to ram. Like, it's the only way for them to out it.
Oh, that's cool.
Alright, on to the Synchros.
Sweet.
Desert Locust. Summon this during your opponent's turn. Force them to discard card. It's not super great against Despia, but it's good against everything else. Also, quick effect, you can quick synchro during your opponent's turn, which you summon totally awesome. Summon Swap Frog from deck, then you quick synchro into this card on their turn. So if you need the Fishborg launcher to set up like Appaloosa or something, you can then, and you have a properly summoned Toad, the Toad could summon Swap from deck, and Hal can go into this, snap a 3rd card out of their hand after you've already mooling them, so they lose 3 cards, or down 3 cards, and then they have to play through a Toad, and then you quick synchro into this, using this and the Swap Frog, and that's just game. They have to play through 2 negates.
That's awesome.
Last 2 synchros. Crocodragon. Love this card to death. This card is insane. You use Neptibus, Fishboard, any 7, Pot of Greed, basically. Draw 2, pitch 2 cards, pop a card in the field, quick effect. That's all he does. Aside from he gains 500 attack for every card in my hand. So if I got 6 cards, he's big. He's like 4K. So yeah, pretty good card. And Trishula. Never summoned this today. Never summoned this last night, but it's good to have. If I'm not playing against Flunder, I'm typically just going to go for it. Against Despia, it's so-so because you don't want to banish the Tragedy. But if I'm playing against an Adventure deck, like Adventure Prank Kids or something, this card, if you Moon Glacier hit Water Enchantress out of their hand, this card just destroys them. You just banish the Enchantress out of the graveyard, and they just don't get anything. Get out of here, Enchantress. Last 3 in the extra deck. Bahamut for the Bujinki Ashima combo, which is just amazing. Also, you trigger Dragoons because it's a water. And 2 totally awesome. Toad, really stupid. Nobody likes to see it. I've literally seen people's faces drop, even if they're playing the best deck, like the top tables. They just don't like seeing this card hit the board. It's just degenerate. It can just generate so much advantage. Alright, go on the side. Play 3 Lancia. This was decent against birds. I really only put this in for birds, if I'm being honest. It's okay against Despia. I put it in against Despia just to try it. And, like, I had this plus Ghost Ogre. When they tried to Mirror Jade, banish, and then set double Mirror Jade on your turn. They activated to banish. I chained Ghost Ogre to get their Mirror Jade off the field, and then chain Lancia.
Yeah,
so they don't banish anything.
I end up using that too. I end up stopping Albion from summoning again.
Yeah, it's pretty good against Albion too. You wait for them to commit to Albion, then you just drop that on them and start to get out of here.
He was really upset.
You just drop that on him. It's pretty good. 3-dimensional bear. I was going to play non-fusionaries, but I just didn't have any, and I couldn't find any, so this is what I decided to play. I felt like the non-fusion areas were just better because, like, sure, they could, like, Draco back, but you just have ways to stop cards like that because you have hand traps, you have just so many answers.
Yeah, it just stops everything.
But
you just can't fusion something.
At the same time, if I had to get stuck with playing against Sword Soul, this card's just better against them. So, like, and
Just
Sword Soul's a
call
decent deck
Synchro.
right now still.
Yeah.
So 3 evenly. I don't like back row. Part 2, Part 3, I don't like back row. Blow out Eldritch, blow out Flunder, blow out anything adventure in its name, blow out Flunder. I actually drew both of these against Flunder. That was funny. He was like, Statue, Impin, Ryza. I was like, yeah, see you later. Lightning Storm, the next turn. He's like, Impin, Ryza, Apex Avian. I was like, sure. And then I just forced out the Apex, and then just lightning stormed him, and he was so mad. It was great. Red Reboot. Then this was also for Flunder. If they activate the trap to normal summon, you just Red Reboot, especially if you're not under Shifter, and then you just kill them because you can easily just pop Impin, and they have no further interaction aside from map, but you have Ghost Ogre for map. So
That's right.
that actually did come up. He had map, but and I Ghost Ogred it, and I was able to just win. It was pretty good.
Awesome.
Also, the Lancia, it's worth noting, if you're under Dimension Shifter with the Lancia, you contribute it after they Dimension Shifter, and then that allows you to still play Ghost Ogre in the same turn, which that did come up. I ended up Ghost Ogering map. That was pretty good. And the last 3 cards, Dark Ruler and more.
How was that?
Never sided in.
Never sided in?
No, never really needed to because I just had the ability to break boards, or if I went first, I would just set up my own board.
Right.
Like, I was afraid of like unbreakable boards. Actually, no, I did side in against the ABC player, and I didn't draw it.
Well.
Any other changes I'd probably make to the deck? Fuck Despia.
I hate him.
I
I had to play him 5 times.
I know.
It sucked.
I had to play against them 3 times. I beat 2 of them. I lost to 1. I kind of misplayed game 2. It's how it goes. I mean, you do what you can. Do your best. But, yeah, the deck is still really good in 2022. Mermails are still going to be a really viable deck for, I think, years to come. Obviously, it's just format dependent. That's just, I think, one of the big things about it.
Yeah.
And also, it's a surprise. Some newer players are just not going to know how to play against it. So
Yeah, because it's so old.
yeah. But,
Yeah.
Here you go.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Terry Jr. getting 21st place at the regionals. All right, man. Signing out.